God almighty. Like,
how'd you get some dignity, sweetheart?
you know, they put themselves in danger, girls like that. And if she's not careful, someone's gonna take advantage.
Especially the kind of guys in this club.
Promising Young Woman starts off exceptionally blunt in its politics, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but does give us the idea that this might be a bit more B-movie than you'd expect from an Academy Award winner. Luckily, I'm much more interested in B-movies, so let's talk about it. Spoilers, by the way. First off, what's Promising Young Woman about for those in the audience who haven't seen it and just want them tasty little spoilers? Well, Carey Mulligan stars as Cassie, whose friend Nina committed suicide at some point due to being raped in college and having her case against Al Monroe, that college boy, being a college boy, dismissed. In one of the film's major downfalls, we never learn a whole lot about Cassie, with most of her past being given to us in small handouts here and there, always just vague enough to keep the sense of mystery, relying more on Carey Mulligan's performance and the general visuals given to us in the film to really tell us about that backstory. However, we do know two major things. Cassie was deeply affected by Nina's death, presumably to the point of being committed at some point or running away, thereby resulting in her turning 30 and still living at home. And she also has an interesting hobby. She goes out and scares men who pick her up, thinking that she's drunk, and surprises them with some very sober scare tactics.
A nice guy like you comes over to see if I'm okay. You wanna fuck me still?
While in the midst of these little tastes of revenge, Nina meets Ryan, played by Bo Burnham, with whom she went to college and who may represent some semblance of romantic normalcy. That's the premise. Now, if you only followed the film's marketing, you might be a little shocked to find out that there's really only one murder in the film itself, and it's not at Cassie's hands. The trailer makes it seem like we're in for a borderline Dexter-esque plot, a Yas Queen revenge tale where McLovin gets his long overdue brutal comeuppance. Heck, maybe we'll get a castration or two, a boy can dream. However, the film has a bit more to say than just, hey, maybe we should kill us some men. Instead, writer-director Emerald Fennell decided to be slightly more nuanced with the revenge genre. Instead of just giving us immediate, tangible catharsis, she holds up a mirror to what's always going on behind the scenes. We're given a peek into what we all know is there, but just don't like to talk about. The world of nice guys, the idea of the women out there just ruining it for dudes, or the old standby of she was asking for it. It's all about making you, the viewer, uncomfortable, often regardless of gender. It's questioning whether you've made the right choices in life when confronted with difficult situations, whether or not you've been the bad guy, and how you would react if your best friend's heinous crime came to light, or maybe how you've reacted to what you think amounts to just college drama.
So much stuff happened back then, like all the time. You know what it was like. It was just one blackout after the next. I hoped I'd imagined it.
However, when I say it's slightly more nuanced, that might be a bit of a strong term for what we get, which brings me to the big negative with Promising Young Woman and what many viewers took issue with upon its release, its ending, which it's complicated. Now, if you are still on the edge and you might have not seen the film yet and just want my opinion, it's a really good movie. I don't think it's a masterpiece, and I don't think it would have been nominated for so much in any other year, but I think it's really solid, very confrontational, which I like, and smarter than some are giving it credit for. Carey Mulligan is fucking fantastic. I'd even argue award-worthy in the way she conveys so much of the backstory and motivation through tone and expression, and the cast of mostly comedic actors works really well. It's visually impressive with some striking and very modern editing choices that work for the bubblegum veneer Fennell is going for, while also again conveying a lot through visuals and character moments rather than exposition or exploitative imagery. It's very recommended. Now, go watch it and come back later for the big spoilers. All right, ready? All right, so
Kneel down in front of me like the naughty boys you are.
the film ends with Cassie basically roofying Al's whole bachelor party and attempting to finally take some form of physical revenge on Al himself. Basically, she's at the moment in your typical rape revenge movie where she might, like, cut off a dude's dick or strangle him to death or whatever. In this case, she's going to carve Nina's name into Al's flesh. Presumably that's the whole plan, but we never find out because Al manages to break one of his handcuffs and proceeds to smother her to death with a pillow. His best friend Joe, who recorded the rape back in college, helps out his bro by burning the body. However, we get an extra, less dour ending when it turns out that Cassie has made some arrangements, including an impossibly well-timed text to Ryan, the phone with video of the rape sent to the lawyer who led Al's defense back in the day, now seeking redemption, which he presumably attains, and most cathartic of all, a whole bunch of cops who descend on this picturesque wedding and arrest Al and his friends in what has to be the quickest response time from cops in the history of police being a thing. We never find out if they are actually prosecuted, but police dogs finding Cassie's remains all but confirm they're pretty well fucked. Overall, it's a pretty simple film, buoyed by little mysteries. Why black and red pens, for example? We never find out, but the initial imagery suggests that maybe she's killing some of these men, but that never pans out. What happened to Nina? Well, we know she was assaulted, and it was ignored by the school and decimated in court, but not much else. In fact, her suicide is just an assumption for the viewer. Now, as I started off saying, these very strong plot threads are placed in the context of what amounts to, in my opinion, kind of a B-movie. Just in the first, 10 minutes, there's about as much subtlety as a claw hammer to the balls, but again, that's not necessarily bad. If this were a completely serious film, maybe it would be, but from the spit in my coffee scene to the Christopher Mintz-Plasse date directly after, it's pretty obvious that the tongue is at least partially in the cheek. This is a very dark comedy, one more interested in making men and women squirm than to garner too many actual laughs.
That's right.
Once you accept and appreciate the slightly overwritten dialogue for what it is, things can get pretty fun. Well, at least in service of traumatic and depressing third act happenings, but hey, variety is the spice of life. Now, if you're paying attention, once Bo Burnham's Ryan shows up to woo Cassie, well, you will probably figure out pretty quickly that this is gonna be classic bait and switch stuff. Even as she tries to take it slow, come on, it's Bo Burnham. He's so nice, he's so charismatic, he's exactly the kind of wolf in sheep's clothing women have to worry the most about.
And then we both won't be doctors, you fucking failure.
Nice. Bye, Ryan.
Even though he seems to have moved on from his frat boy ways, becoming a pediatric surgeon of all things, which seems like a amazing just joke in and of itself, he's shown to still have that little ounce of awfulness inside when he covers up his part in everything when the detective comes around to ask about his missing girlfriend. After all, it was just college. It's not like he did anything wrong as an adult, right? Come on, it's boys being boys. Dude sucks, no matter how much Paris Hilton he sings along with. Allison Brie's turn as another college friend with more knowledge on the event than she initially lets on gives us some added mystery as we try to parse out what exactly Cassie's long game is. Once she serves her purpose, and much to Cassie's surprise, provides the video of the night that drove her crazy, well, the big twist that Ryan was there for the rape rears its ugly head. This does, of course, bring up the question of how a tape spread all over campus, and no one said anything during the trial or whatever investigation occurred, but the idea is a bit more important than the logic beneath it. College shenanigans are just college shenanigans, right? Boys will be boys, parties are gonna get out of control, maybe she was asking for it, etc. It was just college drama, which is how Allison Brie's character, whose name I have immediately forgotten, tries to logic her way out of it. Back to the denouement at the bachelor party. Oh boy, what a way to do it. I'm of two minds with this one. On the one hand, no, it's not the most gratifying thing in the world to see your heroine brutally killed and her body burned by a couple of dude bros responsible for her best friend's death. On the other hand, if we're looking at this as B-movie satire, it really reinforces a lot of Fennell's ideas. Ryan doesn't help so as to save his own skin. Joe helps his friend cover up literal murder because, hey, it's just a stripper and Al's a successful young man. Also, best friend, that's very key to how a lot of these incidents get covered up. Just, you gotta be bros. Bro code, man. Gotta hide that stripper's body. That's bro code. Then there's the sad, brutal realism thrust upon us that many men are more than capable of simply smothering and killing a woman if the need arises. And of course, in keeping with that very, very disturbing 2.5 minutes, the final moment of revenge isn't a big feminist rah-rah bloodbath, but rather the death of a woman for justice to be served for the death of, well, another woman. Both of them with potentially bright futures, both cut short by a few nice guys just having a bit of fun. Promising Young Woman is not the smartest film in the world, but suffice it to say it's absolutely a well-crafted, sharp film that's perhaps a little tough to pigeonhole. It's satire, it's black comedy, it's drama, it's maybe a thriller, but none of those really feel right by themselves. It's an indictment of culture, carefully constructed, but missing the mark in some key areas. Character development, mainly, as well as a twist that just strains credibility a bit too much. Still, as I said, it's a recommendation, and I'm glad more people will presumably still see it, since it's an Oscar-winning film. Good for you, Emerald Fennell, and great job, Carey Mulligan. You might not have won Best Actress at the Academy Awards, but you did in my heart. Hey guys, thanks for watching that review. I like that you watched it all the way to this point, unless you didn't, in which case you're not hearing my voice right now. Yeah, I really enjoyed Promising Young Woman. If you'd like me to go even deeper into it, I certainly can. I want to thank my glorious patron, the real live Carey Mulligan. Her name's in the credits, therefore it has to be the real Carey Mulligan. That's just how it works. For sending me Promising Young Woman on Blu-ray. And yeah, my office looks like a hot piece of garbage right now, so that's why I did this whole thing in voiceover, except for this bit. And yeah, if you'd like to help me with my problem of spending too much money by giving me more to spend, you can help me out with the Patreon down below. And also, of course, you can subscribe and like and all that other fun stuff that people enjoy doing on the YouTubes. Now, I don't know. Go watch a movie.
It's about, I guess, like, what it's like to be a guy right now, you know? Like, what it's like to be a guy in the world. Just this gritty, low-life, fucked-up love story. And it all takes place in New York over the course of one night. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about it. I don't want to jinx it.